Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Professor podcast. My name is Scott, and in this episode we're going to be looking at the top point scorers and key talking points from Game Week 20 Sun Dream Team so far. Now, the reason I say so far is because it's an extra long game week due to the winter break. So we've had currently half of the Premier League teams play Premier League matches. We then had FA Cup replays in midweek. And then we would usually get transfers, but we don't have any transfers to use this weekend. This weekend, we'll have the other half of the Premier League sides playing their Premier League fixtures. And then in midweek, we have the Carabao Cup second legs of the semi-finals. So after those games have taken place, we'll get our new transfers on the 26th of January, which is a Friday at 6:45. So any questions, let me know, because it's a little bit different to usual, but no transfers to worry about this weekend. So instead of doing the top players to target, I'm just going to go through all of the top point scorers and any talking points from this week's matches. So I'm going to start with Newcastle, Manchester City. Ederson was an early injury in this game. It looked like he got like a deep cut to his leg/knee. I saw a picture going around on Twitter. Ortega was the first thing that came into most people's heads that play fantasy football. How much is he? Should we get him in? I don't think it's going to be a long-term injury for Ederson. He did some sort of post after as well to sort of suggest that he was okay. So he went off. I don't think it's going to be worth going for Ortega. I think he will probably be back after they finished their part of the winter break. So 3-2 to Manchester City, but Newcastle looked pretty good to start off with. And they did have Manchester City worried, but it was a regular face that come back and saved the day for them. But firstly, Bernardo Silva scored a wonderful goal, lovely sort of back heel. He finished up on 8 points in this game. He got a goal, and it was his sixth of the season. He's got 4 assists, and he's averaging 5.6 points per game now. And there's always a sort of point in the season where when City go on a run, they have the Champions League. They've got the sort of big games in the Champions League. Bernardo Silva is always someone they rely on. He's played a lot of minutes now. And he is kind of on my radar now at this point. So 6 goals, 4 assists, 8 points in this game. 5.6 average points. 3 goals and 1 assist from his last 5 matches. Which is a pretty good record. So 4 attacking returns in his last 5. Just one of those goals was in the Club World Cup, so you wouldn't have got the points for it. But yeah, he's on a bit of a good run at the minute. You had Walker got the assist for this one. He's playing a bit higher up, like more of a sort of winger rather than how City were playing, where they had the centre-back pushing into midfield. So he's getting forward a bit more, but he's not really getting a ton of attacking returns. So that was just his 2nd assist of the season, and he's got no goals. And had a look, and he's only created 4 big chances as well this season. So it's not like he is really producing much going forward. He's also the 19th defender overall. So in terms of points, he's not doing great. He's got 3 bonus points in this one. And he's 7th for bonus out of defenders. So he is doing okay for bonus points. But if you do sort of go for Walker, you're going for him in the hope that City keeping clean sheets, which they haven't been particularly great at so far this season. Rodri got his 6th assist, and that was for the Kevin De Bruyne goal. Rodri has 5 goals this season and 16 bonus points. We'll come on to Kevin De Bruyne, though, in a minute, because he deserves his own little section. Isak has been on absolute fire from the moment that I took him out. 14th goal of the season. He's got 5 in 4 games. 5 goals in 4 games. Really is looking good. 3 shots on target as well. So finished on 10 points in this game. Anthony Gordon is the 4th highest midfielder as it stands. He got his 7th goal of the season, and he has 8 assists. And the other assists for Newcastle come from Dan Burn and Bruno Guimaraes, who is the top midfielder for bonus, or even, I think it might be the top player for bonus actually on the game. Yeah, top player for bonus on the game with 42 points. So he is having a great season. Kevin De Bruyne. Let's come on to Kevin De Bruyne. So Kevin De Bruyne came on in the 69th minute. I think at that point it was, might have been 2-1. 2-1 to Newcastle, I believe. He came on and grabbed a goal and an assist in this one in just 21 minutes played. The first goal was ridiculous. Run through the middle. He just places it into the corner. It didn't even look like it had that much power on it. Grabbed the goal to draw level. And then the assist was ridiculous. A lovely ball into Oscar Bob, who's not going to be of interest on this game because he's a winger, but he's down as being a striker. So we're never really going to choose him. But it was a lovely finish from him. Lovely bit of footwork, lovely finish. But it really was a ridiculously good cross from De Bruyne. So 2 attacking returns in 21 minutes played in this game for Kevin De Bruyne. 10 points. He did get an assist in the last game against Huddersfield as well in just 33 minutes. So he is firmly on a lot of people's radar now. I think at one point he was the most transferred player in already. The only sort of downside that I can think of with De Bruyne at this point is we still don't know how fit he is, how ready he is to play minutes, but he is making a big point that he can get these attacking returns. Not very many minutes at all. So City have potentially 6 double game weeks in a row coming up if they win their FA Cup matches. So if you do decide to start going for City players at the minute, you really do get good fixture volume out of them. So coming up, they have Spurs in the FA Cup away, and then Burnley in a double game week in game week 21. Game week 22, they have Brentford away and then a potential FA Cup replay. Again, that one's not really secure because it would take a draw for that to be a double game week, but it's a potential. Then game week 23, Everton at home and then Copenhagen in the Champions League. So the Champions League is going to come around very quickly. That one's obviously guaranteed. So game week 23, double game week. Game week 24, they have Chelsea at home. And then they have Brentford at home as well in that double. That one's guaranteed. And then game week 25, they have Bournemouth away and then a potential FA Cup 5th round if they beat Spurs. Then it's followed by game week 26, which is Man United at home and FC Copenhagen at home in the second leg. So there is a lot of games for Manchester City coming up, which is going to make their players quite desirable, which is why I'm sort of thinking about Walker, even though he isn't providing points elsewhere like tackles or assists, goals, shots, like someone like a Pedro Porro, for example. But if Spurs end up going out in that FA Cup match, Porro's going to have a lot less games than someone like Walker, who's got potential for up to possibly 6, maybe 5 double game weeks in a row. If you take that replay away. So that is something to consider with the City players. You could end up getting more games out of them. But then again, there's more chance of rotation as well of Manchester City. One last thing to note on this game, or not specifically on this game, but we still had no Erling Haaland. And the only quote we really had from Pep is that hopefully at the end of this month, he will be ready. But still very vague. It's been pretty vague the whole way throughout. I'm not that confident that he will be back. But if we do get any sort of news, I think you're going to have him before that Spurs Burnley double game week. On to Manchester United 2, Spurs 2. So Rasmus Højlund got a goal in the 3rd minute. We had Marcus Rashford scoring in the 40th. And then for Spurs, it was Richarlison in the 19th minute and Bentancur in the 46th. Now, Rasmus Højlund is 3.3 million. Grabbed his 7th goal of the season. And he's on 1 assist as well for the season. More attacking returns than I expected to see, actually. Timo Werner for Spurs. Back on Højlund as well. A really well taken goal. Left foot right into the top corner. Really good finish. His confidence might be up, and there's a few good games coming up for Manchester United. I don't think I'll be going there. I think it would take a brave person to go there, but maybe just there could be Man United players back on the radar. Timo Werner, new striker on the game, added to Spurs, 3 million. Grabbed an assist in this one and 4 points. So an attacking return in his first game, but just the 4 points. Richarlison got his 8th goal of the season. 10 points in this game. 2 shots on target. Pedro Porro. Now, this guy is absolutely smashing it on Dream Team this season. Grabbed an assist in this one. Endless great deliveries into the box. Finished on 12 points. Maximum bonus points. Again, 5 bonus points. He did it in the last game as well. He's hit maximum bonus back-to-back matches. A really, really great defender to have in your team. If they don't keep clean sheets, like they've conceded twice in this game, and he's still finished up with 12 points. 5 bonus, 1 shot on target, 4 tackles, so that's grabbed him 2 points, and a big chance created. On all of the set pieces as well. The only thing to consider is that James Maddison is back in training this week, and he could potentially be in contention for that City game. So if he sort of pulls rank and takes these set pieces off Porro, might affect his bonus potential or assist potential, but I still think he is a very, very good pick. Also 27 bonus points for the season, which puts him on the same amount of bonus as Trent Alexander-Arnold. The only downside still is if they go out of the FA Cup, that's them out of all competitions, and there's no Europe. So, I mean, he's ended up as the 3rd highest defender on the game without Europe so far. So that is a plus, but there will be a lot of games coming for some of these other European sides. So that is something to consider. Marcus Rashford, his 4th goal of the season. So that's pretty poor, isn't it? 4 goals for Rashford, 6 assists, 8 points in this game. But it is looking a bit more promising for Marcus Rashford. 8 points, 8 points, 9 points, and 8 points in his last 4 games. So he is back delivering higher points. I'm not sure that I will trust him yet. We'll come on to their fixtures in a minute, Manchester United, but I still don't think that I'd be putting Marcus Rashford in my team yet. Bruno Fernandes, 4 points in this game. 7th highest midfielder in the game, which again is surprisingly high considering how disappointing it feels like he's been this season. But he is usually right up there in the point scorers. His points this game just come from tackles. 4 tackles, got him the 2 points and 2 appearance points. And then we had Dalot, who is the 6th highest defender on the game, which surprised me. He got 5 points in this game, 1 bonus. 6 tackles, so 3 points from his tackles. 5th highest scoring defender in the game. And again, no Europe though. Knocked out of Europe, so he isn't going to get the extra fixtures. One last thing to note on the team, Spurs had Romero and Van der Ven back. They've also got their new signing, Dragusin, who came on in the 85th minute. So they can pretty much go back to fielding a full-strength defence, which I still don't think I'd pick their defenders other than Porro. But if you were going for Porro, it probably makes the clean sheets a bit more likely going forward. United face Wolves away and then Newport County away in the Cup. Spurs next have City at home in the FA Cup and Brentford at home. On to Chelsea versus Fulham. Right, so 1-0 win to Chelsea and Cole Palmer, only goal of the game. Cole Palmer, another penalty for him. Absolutely smashing it at the minute and a massively highly owned captain. Debatable red card, debatable tackle from Gusto, who's becoming fairly popular as a cheap option from the Chelsea defence. I didn't think it was a red. It was checked by VAR and just a yellow was given. But I did see a lot of people saying that they thought it should have been a red. In this day and age, it probably was a little bit of a tough challenge, but survived it. He's in my team. I think he's in quite a few people's teams now. He managed to get 6 points in this game. It's their second clean sheet in 2 game weeks as well. So not a terrible pick so far. Sterling grabbed an assist for winning a penalty. Raheem Sterling has won 26 penalties in the Premier League now, which is a record. At least 3 more than any other player in the competition's history. This is from Squawker Live. Chelsea have won more penalties than any other side in the Premier League this season with 8. Raheem Sterling has won more penalties than any other player in the league this season with 3. So this Sterling-Palmer relationship where Sterling wins the pens and Palmer scores them is doing pretty well this season. Palmer with the 8 points, 9 goals and 9 assists for the season. And of those 9 goals, 5 of them have come from the penalty spot. So he's got Raheem Sterling to thank for that. Colwill in defence, 10 points, 6 tackles, 1. Petrovic, 9 points with the clean sheet and 4 saves. Both of these teams still got Carabao Cup action to play in midweek next week. Chelsea, the following week, have Villa at home in the FA Cup and then Liverpool away in the Premier League. Fulham have Newcastle at home and Everton at home. If you're enjoying the video so far, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel to get kept up to date with all the latest Sun Dream Team content. And also go over to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. We did something a bit different this week, actually. We hosted a Twitter Spaces and then turned that into a podcast. And that's on YouTube to watch back, or Spotify, any other podcast platforms. We did mess it up initially trying to get that arranged. It was our first time trying one, but it's edited. It's up on YouTube and Spotify, the proper version for you to listen to. Do check that one out. And we've got a great Discord community, Patreon community. I'll put a link in the description below for that one. We've got a Discord full of engaged managers chatting on a daily basis, exclusive articles, blog posts, the lot. So do check that one out. Link in the description below. Everton 0, Aston Villa 0. Everton are doing really well defensively, actually. Villa have been a little bit disappointing. So Moreno, the fullback that I've been tipping, I felt like I might have been a little bit of a genius when he banged that long-range goal, but it was disallowed for an offside sort of in the build-up. So that was disallowed. But he still finished on 9 points with 1 bonus point. But still, he could be one to watch, maybe when European football comes back. Ollie Watkins, goal drought. This is getting concerning. Just 1 shot on target in this game. 5 games now without a goal. He's only had 3 shots on target in those 5 games. He's in my team. He's in a lot of people's teams. I'm losing patience. At the moment, I feel like I probably will take him out ahead of the next game week. But you know how that goes. It happened with me with Isak. Took him out, starts playing. So if I'm taking Watkins out, maybe you should just leave him in. Everton's defence, 3 clean sheets in a row now after they played their FA Cup replay against Crystal Palace, which I'll come on to in a minute. But yeah, Everton are looking impressive at the back. So clean sheet for everyone. Garner, 6 points, 3 bonus points, and he's on 26 bonus for the season. And he's the second most, or the player that's made the second most tackles in the game, which is interesting. Konsa, 10 points in this game, 3 bonus, regularly hitting bonus points. 37, which is the most for any defender, and the second most in the game, just behind Bruno Guimaraes, who we mentioned earlier. So really smashing this bonus point system, Konsa. Everton face Fulham away in that is FA Cup, isn't it? Everton face Luton at home in the FA Cup, and then Fulham away in the Premier League. And then Villa face... Villa got up next. Villa have got Chelsea away in the FA Cup and Newcastle at home in the Premier League. So Ollie Watkins versus Chelsea away and Newcastle at home. 2 tough games again. Yeah, not feeling too good about Ollie Watkins. Right, second game for Everton. 1-0 win against Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, and it was a really good free kick goal from Andre Gomez. A bit of a forgotten man, actually. Really great finish, 9 points from him, 2 shots on target. There was question marks about bonus points in this game. Dream Team did post about it on their support page, but basically there was a few FA Cup fixtures where Opta Stats just didn't record the stats. So James Garner has actually ended up with 1 bonus point, but no one else has been given bonus. It's happened in a few other games that I'm going to mention, but I'm not sure what they're going to do about it, to be honest. They said they're aware of it, and they're going to try and fix it. But if there was no one recording it, I'm not quite sure how they're going to go about fixing that. So just something to complain about. Again, 3 clean sheets in a row for Everton. They had Mikolenko, Tarkowski and Branthwaite started both of the games this week. Back-to-back starts for them. They did swap their keeper. So Pickford got a rest in this one. And who else came in? Patterson came into the defence. I think Coleman played the other game. Sam Johnson returned for Crystal Palace. 4 saves for him. He's been out for a little while. And I was on Eze watch or Eze bonus watch because he's really reliable for bonus usually. He came off in the 63rd minute. He got 3 points, 1 shot on target, 2 appearance points. But I don't know if he just didn't hit bonus or they didn't record the bonus. So that was a bit of a pointless exercise. Palace put out a pretty strong lineup and they face Arsenal in the early kickoff tomorrow, which I will be at. Hopefully they blew themselves out a bit and Arsenal are fully rested and we can see Saka, Saliba putting in a good performance tomorrow. Everton now have Luton at home in the FA Cup and Fulham away, which I just mentioned. Defence, though, could be interesting. That Luton, Fulham, again, could be good defensive fixtures. But after that, they have Spurs and then City the following game. So if you do it, it might just be for 1 week. Wolves 3, Brentford 2. Again, question marks over the bonus. No bonus given for either team, which looks a little bit suspect. Nathan Collins scored against his old club. Apparently, he didn't score a goal for Wolves. This was his first goal, I think for Brentford. But yeah, didn't score for Wolves. Scored against his old club. Semedo, 8 points. Grabbed a goal. Neil Maupay got his 4th goal, which puts him on level goals with Marcus Rashford. But I'm not sure how many chances Maupay will be getting now that Ivan Toney will be back in the next game, which could be interesting. Although he's about 5 million, which is a little bit steep. Cunha, probably the hero of the game week so far. Tony from the Dream Team Tonic podcast put him in. Don't think he captained him, but I see a few people put him in their team and captain him for this double game week. 3.6 million. Grabbed a goal from the penalty spot. Grabbed an assist. He almost had an assist for one of the other goals. I think he put the cross in and then the player hit it against the keeper. It came back to him and then he scored. So it wasn't obviously a clean assist, but it was a really, really good pass. Also hit the post, but it was disallowed for offside. So he was in all of the action in this game. 13 points in total, 4 shots on target. Really, really good performance. He's on 7 goals, 6 assists for the season. 8th highest striker in the game, which puts him above Isak and Solanke. And he is on penalties. And he's also got 22 bonus points, which is the most bonus points of any striker, tied with Ayew from Crystal Palace. Wolves face West Brom away in the FA Cup next, and then they have Manchester United in the Premier League. Then on to West Ham, who had a disappointing 1-0 loss to Bristol City. Bristol City got the early goal in the 3rd minute. And then it was pretty dire from then on from West Ham. Ben Rama, probably one of the worst tips I've had this season. Didn't bring him in myself, but I thought maybe he might be one of the players to benefit from sort of Paqueta being out and Kudus being at AFCON. But no, he's been terrible. He got a red card in this game. Minus 2 points. He's been rumoured to move away from West Ham as well, and this is probably not going to help him out very much. So apologies if anyone went for Ben Rama. Emerson did manage 6 points in this game, 3 bonus points, and 3 tackles in this one. He's the 10th highest defender in the game. 1 point behind Saliba, which was surprising as well. So West Ham still have Europe to come, so Emerson probably is going to be getting a lot of games. Ward-Prowse is still the 5th highest scoring midfielder in the game, but he's consistently scoring around 3 or 4 points per game now, which isn't terrible, but he's not really getting attacking returns or big hauls. So his last double-digit return was in game week 12. He's got 1 goal, 1 assist in his last 10 games. So gone off the boil a bit, but he is still ticking over. It's a little bit like what Bruno Fernandes is doing as well. He's not smashing the goals and assists, but just because he does have like a fairly high baseline when he's not doing that well, he's still up there in the overall rankings. Speed through these ones because I don't think we're going to have that many players in our teams from these sides. But Nottingham Forest, Blackpool, Nottingham Forest's most highly owned player was at 1.5% ownership, and that was Morgan Gibbs-White, who picked up an abdominal injury in training and missed this game anyway. So horrible if anyone went for a punt on Gibbs-White. He may miss the Brentford game up next as well. Goal scorers were Chris Wood with his 8th goal of the season, Danilo and Omo Bamidele in the 16th minute. You had Yates got 2 assists, but that was about it from this game. I can't imagine this is going to affect people's dream teams very much. And another team, a couple teams that have pretty low ownership. Burnley 1, Luton 1. This was the Premier League game. Trafford was the highest owned player in this match at 0.7%. And got 3 points, 4 saves. Ross Barkley, 6 points, 2.6 million. I just wanted to mention Barkley because he's sort of been pretty good recently. It's a bit of a late comeback for Barkley. He scored 6, 5, 12, 7, 5 and 11 before the Bolton game, which we'll come on to next. But 17 bonus points for the season, and there's some really good returns. I'm not going to pick him myself, 2.6 million, but he just deserves a little bit of a shout out. Doughty, 6 points, got his 6th assist of the season. And then Morris grabbed a goal off the bench, 7 points, and that was his 4th goal of the season. So he's joined the club with Rashford and Mopay. Bolton 1, Luton 2. This was the FA Cup match. Again, question marks about bonus. Doughty was the only one that got 1 bonus point. I'm not sure how they worked it out, but Morris got 2 assists in this game. Ogbene and Chong got the goals. But it was a blank for Ross Barkley. But he's done well, really. Right, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thought we'll just do a little bit of something just to keep us going until the next lot or next week, where we will do the top players to target for game week 21. Right, this is just how my team's doing so far, but I think it's pretty pointless anyway because we are in the middle of a game week. But it was 136th to start the week, down to 167th, but still got a lot of players to play. 37 points so far for the week, 2,141 in total. This is as of Friday, the 19th. Right, so Dubravka got me 4. I've got Gusto, who picked up 6 with that clean sheet, but still has Middlesbrough to play in midweek. Saliba has Crystal Palace tomorrow morning or early afternoon, and then just a single for him. And then Gomez has Bournemouth away, Fulham away, so Liverpool still got 2 fixtures to play at the weekend and in midweek. My captain, Palmer, who was like 75% captained, I think, in the top 1K this week, got me 16 points. I wasn't going to take a chance not captaining him again. Then faces Middlesbrough in midweek, so hopefully Sterling can win him another penalty for him to slot home. Saka plays again tomorrow, just a single. Sterling got me 4 points for winning that penalty and his appearance points. He was one of my transfers in though, so I think that one was a little bit disappointing. Gomez was my other transfer in. but we're yet to see how he does. Phil Foden just had the one game this week. He got me 5 points. He's been doing great. Not the best return this week, but he's been brilliant all season. And then Ollie Watkins with a measly 2 points. But then these are my 2 players I have the most hope for this week. And next week, actually. Jota and Darwin Núñez. Bournemouth away, Fulham away this week for both of them. So I've still got 2 games out of these 2 Liverpool guys. And now we know that next week they will be playing Norwich. So Chelsea at home and Norwich at home next week. 2 home games, 2 Liverpool strikers. I'm feeling quite confident about these 2. I'm going to keep them in for next week. Just while I'm talking Liverpool, AFCON last night, it looked like Salah pulled his hamstring and had to go off. So maybe he won't be in our plans as early as we thought. We'll have to wait for some more info. But I thought I'd mention it. So obviously, don't know what my transfers are going to be. I think it's pointless really trying to even work it out at this point. Obviously, have a rough idea. But this is my team for next week. So Dubravka, Gusto, Gomez, Palmer, Sterling, Foden, Watkins, Jota, Núñez have all got 2 fixtures. Saliba and Saka are my only 2 players that only have the 1 game, which is Forest away, which is not terrible. I'll probably just look to get Saliba out for someone that's going to play twice. I probably don't need to have an Arsenal defender until Champions League maybe comes back. Now they're out of the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup, they're a bit light on fixtures. Saka, the same applies, but I just think Saka has the ability. He's on pens. He can score highly. I think I'd be happy to keep hold of Saka. So Watkins is the other player that I'm not so keen on. Newcastle, Chelsea, obviously can score in any game, but he isn't really doing it at the moment. And in terms of players to look towards, my eyes are on the City players at the minute for the extra fixtures. Potential 6 double game weeks in a row, I think it is, if they have an FA Cup replay. 5 if they don't. And then obviously it'll be less if they get knocked out by Spurs. But you'd have to say that City are the favourites. So I think it's going to be looking towards Manchester City. Maybe bringing in a defender for Saliba to try and get extra games. De Bruyne, is it time to get De Bruyne in yet? Maybe I'll go a bit safer and go for Bernardo, who had a good game or has had a few good games in a row. Decision to be made, but I don't want to make these plans yet, because you know what happens. We made all our plans last week, and then Trent got injured, Bowen got injured, so those guys could be back. We might want them back in our team. We might find out something about Kevin De Bruyne that makes us definitely want to put us in. And even if we hear Haaland is back, we're going to want Haaland back. So I think just let these games play out this weekend, midweek. Have an idea in your mind, but just don't get too attached, because a lot can change in a quick space of time. So that is everything for this episode. Just a short one, just to keep us going until the next game week. In game week 21, so about middle of next week, I will have top players to target in game week 21 Dream Team. But for now, just please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Dream Team Tonic podcast, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks. Goodbye.